The danger of a hard heart is this: it's not easily broken. See, that's the danger of it. A broken and contrite heart God will not despise. I've been saying it all morning. Psalm 51:17. A broken, which means, God, I give up and I give in to you. And a contrite heart, a heart that's remorseful and repents. God will not despise that. See, this is the one thing I love about God. You can take him to the bank on every single promise. I mean, what about if it said in parentheses, and I'll consider it? He just says, no, if you do these things, I will not turn you away. And here's the fact of the matter. The Puritan authors used to say this often, that the same sun that melts the wax hardens the clay. The same sun that melts the wax hardens the clay. What's the difference? A broken and contrite heart. So here's 4 signs. I'll get right to the closing. 4 signs of a hard heart in a believer as well as an unbeliever, because I want to hit both here. Number 1, we don't want to talk about our faith. If I have a hard heart, if I'm an unbeliever, when I lived in that lifestyle, I don't want anybody to talk about faith. Right? Don't talk about faith and politics, because they're interwoven, right? My faith, people crack me up and says, you leave your faith at home. Leave your faith at home. Don't bring it to the workplace. Really, how does that work? It doesn't work. That's impossible. That's why people don't like faith and politics, because they're interwoven. Your faith determines how you live. So a hard heart says, I don't want to talk about it. And a person who's a believer, let's say, maybe in a prodigal state, caught in sin, they don't want to talk about it either. If they're not living for God, they're living for Laughlin, the jet skis, and a 12-pack of Corona, they don't want to talk about their faith. There's a hard heart there. When we have a hard heart also, public confession, we don't like being challenged. We're always right, and we are proud of it. That's a hard heart. This is where a church needs to be careful, because even the right doctrine with the wrong heart or with the wrong spirit can bring division and dissension through a critical heart. Number 2, love and compassion have vanished. Even a believer who's got a hard heart doesn't have love or compassion in their life. Isaiah 6:10, the New American Standard Version. Render the hearts of this people insensitive, their ears dull, and their eyes dim. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and understand their hearts, and return and be healed. Lacking compassion. Number 3, sin is mastering you. If you're an unbeliever and you've got a hard heart, sin is mastering you. If you're a believer and you've got a hard heart, a besetting sin has taken you over. You keep falling in an area and you're hooked on this sin that's got you down, and that's often the result of a hard heart. How do you know, believer? What you used to control now is controlling you. Number 4, pride is thriving in you and not dying. Jeremiah 16:12, you too have done evil, even more than your forefathers. For behold, you are each one walking according to the stubbornness of his own evil heart without listening to me. That's a sign of a hard heart. And he just said right here, unbelief is a hard heart. And I'm only bringing that up because I want to help. Unbelief is a hard heart issue. Some were hardened and did not believe. So let's close with a few thoughts. The heart of stone must become a heart of flesh. David, you prayed that this morning. You just confirmed it with me in there in the prayer room. The heart of stone must become a heart of flesh. Ezekiel 36:26. I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. A self-righteous man once boasted to a Christian friend of his in Los Angeles. He said, you know, John, I'm not such a bad fellow. There are many worse than I. His friend replied, Steve, you're measuring yourself by the wrong standard. You measure yourself by the harlots and the drunkards you see on Skid Row, and you feel quite satisfied by comparison. But go and measure yourself alongside Jesus Christ and see how you measure up.